Make sure you go and check out carmarshall.com. Over 100,000 new and used cars from dealers. You shop, you see what you like, negotiate prices, and get you a very good deal. What's good, people? I'm Jaye BIack. I want to speak about Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Now, I haven't made any videos towards her on this channel. That may change, but it's going to start with this video. Now, up until recently, there was never really anything that caught my attention for me to want to speak on her on this particular channel. But she did something recently where it kind of made me chuckle, but it made me sad at the same time. Okay. Apparently, she was speaking at the National Action Network conference, which of course is an organization by Al Sharpton. And she never misses an opportunity to go and speak in front of people because that's her brand. She's doing more speaking than actually doing anything worthwhile. So she's at this event and she is using what people are saying is a fake black accent. Okay. She's using ain't, and just her vernacular is very, Southern a bit. The Daily Caller is posting about her responding to it. But I just want to say this first. I looked at the video and it reminded me of Hillary, with the hot sauce in her purse, and her, she was speaking years ago and she was using certain words and speaking a certain way to sort of appeal to black people. This is why I say that black people are very controllable, because all non-black people have to do is speak a certain way or say a certain thing, and that will get a lot of black people on their side. Okay. You got Ocasio Cortez speaking, and she's talking about how there's nothing wrong with working minimum wage. There's nothing wrong with working regular jobs, which she's right. But she's making it seem like that is the end all be all. No, working regular jobs is a stepping stone to something else. But for people like her, because she is a socialist, she thinks that, everybody should be on the same level financially, no matter if you work harder than anybody else, no matter if you're more creative than anybody else, and whether you're able to monetize your abilities. She's one of those people that think the government is supposed to finance everybody. And that's just not how I believe. The government has been financing the black community. Look at the black community now. The government has been financing single black mothers for over 40 years. How has that worked? That hasn't worked, has it? You see the dysfunction and destruction that has gone on in these communities. No matter if you got women who want to make excuses for that. Because there are black females who are making excuses for why the black community is the way it is. But you have to look at the fact that the government has funded these communities and they are in shambles. Okay. And let me just speak on this article from Daily Caller. Democratic New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez responded Friday to critics who accused her of using a fake accent during her speech at the Al Sharpton National Action Network convention. Folks talk about my voice, can step right off, she said. She tweeted, Women's March and Kavanaugh speech, same. Any kid who grew up in a district, linguist culture, and had to learn to navigate class environs at school, work, knows what's up. My Spanish is the same way. No. I heard how you were talking. There was some New York in there, but when you're speaking in front of a group of white people, it's different when you're speaking in a group of blacks. Because, you sounded like you were trying to talk down to them. It's almost like you were trying to fit in. And you were probably one of those females that you basically, whatever people you were around, that's how you will react. This woman even claimed that she was Jewish, but now you're saying that your Spanish accent. So you're saying that it's because of your Spanish heritage. Like, come on. As much, let's see. Okay, the article goes on to say, as much as the right wants to distort and deflect, I am from the Bronx. She continued in another tweet. I act and talk like it, especially when I'm fired up, especially when I'm home. It is so hurtful to see how every aspect of my life is weaponized against me, yet somehow asserted as false at the same time. AOC, I saw the video. I'm one of those people. I listen to people's accents. If by listening to somebody a couple times, I can normally tell what side of the country they're on. See, I'm from the South. Okay, people say I sound like I'm not from the South. That is because hearing so many different accents and the fact that in my state we have a lot of transplants. So not everybody here, especially in my city, speaks with a Southern drawl. A lot of older white people here have a Southern drawl, but a lot of, younger Gen Xers, they don't have a Southern drawl like that unless they're from the country and their family's very country. But, accents change, but the way people pronounce certain words can tell a lot about where they're from, like whether they're from the South or they're from the North, whether they're from the Midwest or East or West Coast. Because I've heard people from the Midwest talk, and they're just certain words they pronounce in the way that a lot of people from the Midwest pronounce. So okay, that person from the Midwest, like from the West Coast, the people's vernacular and the way they speak, you can tell where they're from. The way that she was trying to talk at that National Action Network convention, she was trying to talk like a Southern black, because in her mind, Southern blacks are authentic blacks. Y'all may not like me saying it, but that's how it came off to me. And, people like her who have no black friends, I highly doubt she has any friends who don't look like her. Okay. A lot of these lamestream liberals like herself, these socialists, they don't have any black friends. They talk down to black people. They think they're supposed to speak for us. They like to speak about people of color because they want to lump blacks and everybody else in the same category, and we're not. But you got these Negroes who are okay with that. They were in the crowd cheering her on, and you wonder why we don't get no respect? Because any and everything one of these lamestream liberals say, we're all for it. Instead of us just looking at the fact that we are being clowned, that they're talking down to us. Hillary Clinton did the same thing. Kamala Harris blatantly made up a story about how she used to blow weed while listening to Tupac and Snoop Dogg, right? But when she was in college, they were not making music. Bernie Sanders, he likes to bring up the fact that he, was a part of the civil rights movement. Whenever we question what has he done for blacks, he brings that up. And I noticed this. You got brothers on social media who talk about how they're independent and how they are not for neither party. Both parties don't do anything for us, but they only seek to criticize conservatives. They never criticize Democrats, never. But they claim to be independent. They claim to not be on anybody's side, but you only criticize Republicans. You never criticize Democrats. That is because you are still a Democrat. And you're probably one of those people who will sit in the crowd and you will cheer on AOC because you like the fact that she is a non-Negro and she's speaking to you. She's giving you time because, AOC is very popular in the media. People make videos about her every day. People post about her every day. I don't. This is the first video I've made to her, But be that as it may, this pandering that I'm seeing, it's election season. So they want to make sure that y'all are still got them chains on and you're still going to be going to these voting booths and you're still going to be voting for said candidates, And when I mean election season, I don't mean that, people are going to get, elected this year. What I'm speaking about is this is the start of the 2020 presidential run, which always starts a year in advance. So this is pretty much the year in advance of the, basically before the presidential race heats up. You got all these potential candidates coming together, or they're doing these different events. They're starting to do funding. That's what I mean by political season. Political season really starts the year before which actually, which is in 2020. This is 2019, so this is the year before. So that's why things are getting revved up now. This is when the political season starts to rev up, and you see people, take their sides where they're at. And I'm noticing, unfortunately, for another presidential run, you're gonna have a lot of blacks or African Americans looking to support the DNC, the same party who continues to do nothing for them. Even though we can say that, the RNC does nothing for blacks, but we have never gone to them. We have never asked for anything, but we want to, ask DNC, who year after political year continue to lie and say they're going to do this and that, and they never do it. But we're okay with that because we like the abuse. We like the abuse. That's how it seems to me. It seems that we like the abuse, because you have to look at the fact that we continue to vote. Even in 2018, we still voting for the DNC when they clearly aren't going to do nothing for us. But then we don't even want to negotiate with the RNC. We don't even want to go to them and say, listen, this is what we're looking for, because of that mindset still being indoctrinated. And we need to get out of that. That is the only way we're going to be able to get anything done. We ain't going to be able to get nothing done, and we're continuing to believe in the hysteria that only the blue party cares about us, when we all know that is not true. That's not true. Okay. Due to the welfare state, that is why we feel that way. If you're a hardworking black man and black woman, why are you still voting for a party that has given you they've given you free housing, welfare, Section 8, but it all has come at a price. Nothing is free. I want y'all to understand that nothing is free. Everything comes at a price, especially when you're voting for a party that continuously disrespects you and does nothing for you. And AOC represents that.